Hello everyone, my name is Jocelyn and I have a very serious important question for you. What is banana? Don't worry, I'm not going full Ray Comfort on you. That is a standard so low, I will not delve. Don't worry, don't panic. I just want you to ask, for a second though, to yourselves, what comes to mind when I say banana? Probably something like this, right? This is undeniably a banana. If I eat it, it's going to taste like banana. I'm not actually going to eat it right now because it's not quite ripe enough for me. But, I will. Didn't just buy it for demonstration purposes. I will get the nutritional value from it as well. That's banana. What about this? This is banana. It's banana milkshake. Give it a good old shakey shake. And if I drink it, it also tastes like banana. Obviously accounting for milk, sugar, and other ingredients, but it is banana, right? Or is it? Banana flavorings, such as the one that's in this milkshake, is actually made from a chemical compound called isoamyl acetate, and it's a food flavoring that is present in a lot of banana flavored things, including milkshakes and sweets, and also in pear drops. So before you conclude, however, that this banana is not banana and this banana is banana. How silly do I feel just saying that word multiple times? The chemical compound, the isoamyl acetate, also naturally occurs in this banana here and in lots of other foods like fruit and coffee. So whether it's natural or artificial, it's still the same thing. So the question is it only banana if it's natural? Which is real? Are both really banana? Of course, the topic of conversation here in this video is not about bananas, but I just want you to think about this example as you watch the rest of the video. And also ask yourselves, if something is naturally made, does that make it better than something that's artificially made that performs the same function? Okay, I'm going to drink this now. No, I'm not. So, we gotta answer the question. Is AI art real art? Yes, but also no. The answer is nuanced, and for the purposes of brevity and also recognizability in this discussion, I am just going to be calling it AI art, even though it's more correct and accurate to say a large language learning model created the art. So what is art? Well, without going into a Webster's dictionary definition, because everyone hates those, I would describe art as something that can be, well, art can be a painting, or a sculpture or a novel or a song or a poem or a photograph or a movie or a play or even something as, I don't know, accessible as, say, makeup. And what these things all have in common is that they are any form of medium, really, that conveys ideas. And I do believe that it is the recent rise in AI generated art that has prompted many of us to pass judgment on it as being somehow fake, artificial, i.e., not real art. And if we compare side by side a picture created by a person and one created by AI, we can see that they are in fact both pictures. Both express and convey ideas, and in that sense, they are both real. Both are visible, both are tangible. But of course, it's deeper than that. The more nuanced take is that art is used as a medium for expressing oneself. So, does AI art function well at doing that? If this art is created not by a person, but by a computer, is it still created by the person typing in the prompts? i.e., does it convey ideas that that person wanted to put out into the world, into the medium that they chose? It kind of does, but was it really by that person? Take, for example, off the top of my head, one of my most favourite classical pieces of art, Guernica by Picasso. Well, it certainly conveys ideas from Picasso himself. In it, he portrays the horrors of war as bleak and terrible. It's horrific, it's chaotic, it's abstract, but there's a conveyance of thoughts and feelings from himself, from his mind. AI, on the other hand, uses prompts, composites together hundreds of, sometimes thousands of pieces of art and words and images, and just kind of shoves them together into a somewhat recognizable form without any real sort of thought behind it. It's all done through the programming of the original creator of the AI. That programmer didn't put artistic flair and ideas into the computer program. And we'll touch upon the ethics of taking these images, some might even call it stealing, this work of others later in the video. The problem with the AI is that it is also flawed to the point of absurdity. AI tends to make mistakes that people just wouldn't, because, again, it's not really identifying things so much as where things are, where they go, where this cluster of pixels makes sense compared to other clusters of pixels. AI famously can't handle creating numerals or typographical symbols that are recognizable or even readable. And I'm sure we've all seen by now mangled human fingers that, again, are not the kind of errors that people would make, because people understand the physiology of hands better than an AI can. Because the AI simply doesn't recognize, doesn't know what it's supposed to be looking at. Works of prose are sometimes also similarly nonsensical. I'm sure that a lot of people in my audience have already seen the Batman script. It's pretty infamous now for being so bizarre that while it is funny to look at how hilariously bad it is, it's also very inhuman. It makes mistakes that no human really would. It barely even recognizes Alfred as a human character at all. I'll pop it up on the screen for those of you who haven't seen it yet. Feel free to pause the video. Anyway, I thought I'd try my hand at confusing the AI or testing its limits, see how it works. The clock images I generated using a prompt asking specifically for an overly complicated clock with Roman numerals. And whilst some of them are recognizable, some of them, I mean, there's 2 4 o'clocks on one of them. It's bizarre. And they all put way more numerals on than I would normally see on a clock. In a recent D&D campaign I was in, I played a character called Matora. Don't worry, I'm going somewhere with this. She is a Circle of Spores druid centaur. I really hope I don't need to explain what a centaur is, because this next part is just going to go straight over your heads if you don't. So I decided to test the AI by creating some images of her using the following prompt. A druid centaur woman with horns, wearing leather armor and a long cape, holding a staff and shield, surrounded by mushrooms and spores. These are the images that I got on screen now. Some of the images incorporated the mushrooms into the weaponry, which, interesting choices. I didn't ask for that. It seems to have got a bit confused as to how dangerous mushrooms are in terms of stabby hitty things. Although from an artistic license I can see actually it's kind of on theme. There were, however, no swirling spores, which I was a little bit upset by. And these images, I'm pretty sure you can see the glaring flaw in the obvious, at least I hope obvious, misinterpretation, is that none of these pictures are of centaurs. So I decided to generate some more, and I changed the prompt to include the words half horse and glowing spores. Well, these are the images I got next. Still no spores. The mushrooms are now glowing, which, okay, interesting. The armor now has glow to it as well. But again, still no centaur bodies, and all 6 results feel oddly sexualized. And I feel this is probably more to do with the source images it was using, having a kind of sexualized male gaze bias. Another experiment I decided to try with the AI includes creating a tattoo design. So I wanted to see how good it would make a design that matched my expectations, my hopes for my next tattoo idea. Now, I'm not going to use any of these ideas as my next tattoo. I just wanted to see what it could do with the ideas that I put forward. I have a very specific idea of how I want my next tattoo to look, and I wanted to see how well it could match my idea. It failed. So the prompts I used for this one was a couple of daffodils and 2 pepper moths and a ladybird. The images I got, none of them have long stems like daffodils do. There were some that incorporated other flowers, other narcissus flowers as well. Interesting idea, but not what I asked for. And clearly, the AI had no idea what I meant by pepper moths. It kind of seems to have incorporated the idea of a moth and a pepper together, rather than looking up what a pepper moth is. If you search on Google, you'll find these results for what pepper moth actually look like. And again, just to reassure everyone, this was an experiment to see what the AI could do. This is not what I'm going to do for my future tattoo or for any future tattoo. I would not let AI design a tattoo for me without some serious human intervention from actual artists, because I would not want to deprive an artist of actual work. So now I think we have to answer the most important question. Is AI art ethical? Like, I don't think it's fair to say that, as with any technological advancement, that AI is inherently unethical. Again, there's nuance to discuss. You've probably seen this kind of Facebook meme rolling around, designed to tug at the heartstrings of the uninitiated. Or this kind of propaganda used to paint Trump in a positive light. These things aren't real. They have been created by AI specifically because they are not real. And you cannot see these things any other way. I mean, if they were real, there wouldn't be a need for these AI-generated falsehoods. It's designed specifically to trick people into believing the falsehood, the lie, the deception, or at the very least, put the image in your mind. Because once seen, it can't be unseen, even if you know it's not real. And your subconscious is really bad at telling the difference between what's real and what's not just by looking. I need to make it very clear right now that this is not my attempt to promote Trump or in some ways condone his lunacy. I just need to disclaim that and say that I'm using that as an example of propaganda. AI is also now used to usurp the work of creators and actual artists. And I think that's the most specific thing that people think of when they think of AI art being unethical. And yes, here's the part of the video where the leftist on screen rallies against capitalism. It's part of the course in like every video essay you'll see. Don't worry, I'll be brief. Not only is AI art technically theft of other people's works to produce the composite images and works that it does, it's also freely accessible and widely available. Meaning that in future, artists won't get commissioned for producing art in order to just keep costs of production down. And to that specific example I've got here, let me tell you the history of this image. I'm not afraid to name and shame here. I have nothing to lose by telling the whole truth as I understand it. This image appeared on the Facebook feed of an independent business in town where I live called Rocket and Bird. This business sells prints on textiles like bags and cushions, things like that. And my close friend noticed it and asked them about it, and they admitted that it was created by AI. And they explained that their reason was to keep costs down. They couldn't afford an artist. And I get it. Costs of artists, well, you got to pay them something worthwhile, otherwise they're not going to work for you. It's an added cost that a small independent business probably can't really afford easily. I get it. But one would expect this sort of lack of ethical awareness from, say, a large faceless corporation, not a small independent business. And it looks to be, I think, a fairly convincing Disney Pixar filter rather than whole cloth generated AI, because those hands are just too good. Clearly it is not created by Disney or Pixar. Is this stealing credit from Disney? Dare I say it, is Disney the victim in this? Well, yes, actually. And the way you can tell it's very fake is because Pixar is supposed to be spelled with only one X. AI, it's quick and easy. It's a little bit like junk food. All artificial additives, no nutritional value. And yet, junk food is still technically edible. Does that make it not real food? Don't worry, I'm not going to get mired into another analogy. I'm just saying that it's useful as a tool for those without the time or who struggle artistically to show what they mean in something of an efficient way. Mistakes and all. With AI, you might not get an accurate representation, but you can get a good gist. It can also be used by artists to generate ideas who then turn those guidelines to pivot into more traditional art mediums. My friends and I use AI art creation software just for funsies. There's no profit motive involved. There's no stealing credit. And there are no illusions when we use it as to whether or not it's AI. We tell each other it's generated by AI. Anyone would be hard-pressed to call that unethical. The problem with it being so quick and easy is that it is also easy to abuse by the lazy and the talentless. Emma Thorne. Great YouTuber. I've seen a lot of her work. I've seen her giving reactions to these in a nutshell videos. They are used to ostensibly tell Bible stories using AI generated images. But they are very seemingly carelessly thrown together with no real thought to artistic continuity. This is not a thing that a human artist would do. And it is slop that's mass-produced for views, which translates to income for the creator. In other words, it's shady as fuck. Now those are my thoughts on the matter. It's a useful tool in the right hands, a source of greed and or misinformation in the wrong ones. And as AI gets more realistic and convincing, the more clued up we need to be about it to guard ourselves from being duped. However, in contrast to what I have just said, I discovered on one of the Clicks videos recently that there is an AI that was created in order to waste scammers' time. Scammers are the lowest of the low. No scruples with any of them. And they will rob, fool, trick people with no care or conscience at all. This AI grandma was created to waste their time, because if they're stuck talking to her and she's leading them down the garden path, then they're not talking to a real person and scamming real money. It's one of the most wholesomely and bizarrely ethical uses I can think of for this kind of technology. Is it strictly speaking art? Well, it's not used to present an idea in anything that could be called an abstract way, but it's still a creation. And I hope that by highlighting this now, I haven't then gone and clued in scammers, because they'll get wise to it. My channel's not big enough for them to pick up on, I think. I hope. You got to be one step ahead of those scammers, and if they've created her, they've probably created like 5 different elderly looking people who aren't real, just to waste these fuckers' times. Well, that's all from me. This editing is going to take a while, and I am now feeling cold because I'm recording this in my room and it's February, so yeah. I'll see you all next time. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you have something to think about and aren't disheartened from creating whatever you deem to be real art. Non-binary is valid, goddammit. See you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye. Oh, fuck. That's really cold, though. That just came out the fridge.